Today I just wanted to show you something that Palantir, the official account, has tweeted out. And then I want to get into Bloomberg. I want to show you some stuff, some valuation things, and also some other statistics that I think are very relevant. But first I want to say go check out PalantirVision.com. And I've just launched some t-shirts for the very first time. If you're interested at all, you can use the code BLACKFRY for 20% off today only. And the BTFD shirt has been the most popular by the dip. All right, so let's start it off on Twitter here. Here we have a new video from Palantir. Let's go ahead and watch it. Yeah, so certainly not a new product per se. Of course, it's more of just a use case that they're showing off. So if you are interested, here's the site, Building the Connected Utility of the Future. And I'll tell you, this is going to be very important going into the future. So I'm glad that Palantir is getting into it. A flexible framework to operate in a dynamic environment. Yeah, and now that I think about it, power generation, grid management, customer experience, this does seem like a perfect place for Palantir to operate. Okay, they're military grade security at scale, weather, smart metrics, sensors. Yeah, it's very interesting. Just the different use cases that Palantir can kind of take all of the data in. If you are one of these companies, you just schedule a demo and you get going. So now on to what I wanted to show you today. We'll start with the 3-statement model here. I didn't realize when I was actually going through it, this is for more investment banking, but we'll open it up, put Palantir in, and see what the actual model spits out. But I was actually pretty surprised by the results. I'm not just saying that. It shows that Palantir is undervalued using the future earnings and discounting back to today as in a discounted cash flow model. So I thought it would be better to just open this up and we wait for it to populate information technology. And all of this data is getting pulled from Bloomberg, and it pulls in the analyst estimates, as you'll see in a moment. The financials, let me just show you the financials first, and we can zoom back in. My apologies. So basically, what they're modeling out here is a bull, bear, and base case. But for the base case, we have a revenue of, for each of the years, this is what just got populated in. We have revenue of basically 24% per annum. And that carries all the way forward to fiscal year 2030, which would be $12 billion in, it looks like, annual revenue. But that's at this 23% growth rate. So if you'll recall, Palantir is actually guiding for something even more than that. Here's what the analysts are thinking, which is totally fine. I will leave that. And let's actually select this valuation tab. And here we are on the valuation. And let's just zoom in a little bit more to 200%. So here we have the discounted cash flow. So we're under the base case here. All sorts of calculations going into this. It's using EV to sales, which I did not put that there, but I'm sure that's probably what it is currently. With a current share price of $21.11, it's forecasting, based on all of these discounted cash flows, basically the cash flows into the future discounted to today, a upside of almost 300%. Let's just get that correctly formatted so we can look at it in all of its glory. So they run a different model over here called dividend discount. Well, I'm not really sure how this works. I don't know how you get a $75 price from a non-dividend company, but moving along. Residual income. So basically this is the formula for the residual income valuation. And what happens is it says that residual income valuation is an approach to equity valuation that formally accounts for the cost of equity capital. But the thing is, Palantir actually doesn't need to raise money, or even, because they've paid off their debt, they're sitting on cash. So I'm not sure how accurate this is, but it represents a negative $31 share price. So take that as you will if you believe that is totally accurate. But anyway, here we are. I'll just select these sort of metrics here so we can take a look and turn it to price multiples. So, you have them sort of following the share price, and that's how it is, right? Because mainly it's the price on the top here in the numerator that's actually driving the multiples. And until we see some serious change in the financials, that will not change anyway. But I wanted to show you that the free cash flow is indicating a share price of $84 almost, and a rise of 295%. So take that as you will. Definitely not financial advice. Anything could happen, but that's just what Bloomberg is sort of saying here. And now I have another model to show you. Actually, not a model, just more sort of company analysis. So I do not recommend trading Palantir stock based on what I just showed you, but interesting to see nonetheless that some of the numbers do sort of come out well into the future. And then if we make this one bigger, so here we are loading in Palantir's historical data into this Excel template, and if we scroll down actually to the geographic segments, once it lets me, there we go, we have United States, United Kingdom, France, and the rest of the world. There is a way I'm actually going to be able to get access to the rest of the world, but that'll be in the future. We say an almost even split between commercial and government, actually leaning towards commercial now, saying that the value is 397 versus a value of 346. I bet that's millions of dollars. When did that happen? What am I missing here? It doesn't really provide an explanation. But anyway, you can look at the peers. So here we have a bunch of peers. Everyone's always asking, oh, who do you compare Palantir to? Well, you can compare it to its peers in the sort of industry, the sub-industry. So here we have Palantir at the top. Oh, price to earnings. Let's change this actually to price to sales is a little better of an option. Highlighting. We highlight these cells, and then we can do a conditional highlight to view actually which ones are conditional format, which ones are greater than Palantir, to see if there are any that are. Yes, it does appear there are. We'll fill them with green. Okay, so on a price to sales basis, it looks like there are certainly companies that are valued more richly, i.e. more highly or potentially overvalued than even Palantir is. Now, why does this matter? Well, lots of people say Palantir is overvalued, but if you look at this, oh, that's wrong, but we have a 57, a 31, 44, 27, 22, 22 again, 23 pretty much. And then if you scroll all the way down, let's see, are there any more? No, not really. So there are certainly companies that are worth or valued much higher on a price to sales basis than even Palantir is. So just worth pointing that out. But actually, well, before we close out of this, let's just see the average of the peer group here. The average, excluding Palantir, of this peer group, 15. So it looks like 15 is the average, which is higher than Palantir, of course, or sorry, lower than Palantir. Palantir is higher than the average. So that's mainly to be expected, but Palantir is not at the top end of the range. They are towards the top. They are not the highest, of course. 57, I believe, is the highest. And if you're interested in that company, looks like that company is BILL, B-I-L-L, for the ticker, and then Bill.com Holdings. So there you have it. For valuation, let's see what else we have on here. Oh, this is an interesting one. I like this one. This shows the different price targets from the different firms that we have. So we'll zoom back in, and here we are. The price overlaid to the actual target. So we'll see the target actually was well behind the stock until the stock started cooling off and everyone started raising their targets. And now we are actually below the analyst target. The analyst target is $24 thereabouts. And we are down at 20, 21 area, maybe even below 20 today with the macro conditions. As it stands, Palantir is below what the analysts think it should be valued at. So there you have it. Here we have the different analysts in a bar chart. The brokers' target price, Credit Suisse, Wolf Research, Jefferies coming in with a 31, RBC Capital with that article we were looking at before, Morningstar at 31, and Masterlink Securities at 40. Wow, they must have initiated a while back in January. So yeah, let's do the average. I think we already had the average, but just to double check the average, we have an average of 2688. So that's if you include the Masterlink, which is pretty high up there. If you exclude Masterlink, we probably get 25, which seems much more reasonable for a target. And we'll see that most are actually tied between buy and hold, with a pretty small portion saying to sell. Now, a quarter is not a small portion, but in a relative sense. Let's see what else. I think there was some other stuff I wanted to show. I think I wanted to show yes, this is the last part I wanted to show. Sorry, this is not coming out perfect, but here we are. Ownership type. You'll see retail and other. I'm not sure what other actually constitutes, but retail is taking up 50% of the ownership type, and institutional is on the other side at 43%, and insider is actually 6%. So I don't know how that works out when Peter Thiel is actually the third largest shareholder from anywhere, but I guess that's just what they're reporting. So anyway, in terms of ownership in the geographic pie graph here, United States, unknown, Japan, and then a bunch of other smaller ones, Britain being one of those. Now that is pretty interesting. So in terms of the institutional ownership, it's mainly the investment advisors making that purchase of Palantir, and then after that, it actually doesn't say what this is, that's just other, but individual. There are 12% of institutional owners of Palantir that are individuals buying Palantir. Not sure how that really compares, but thought I would share it. Here's the full list. And then it goes from insiders, Thiel to Karp to Sankar to Glazer to Alexander Moore. All right, there you have it. This was just a breakdown of cool things I had found on Bloomberg and thought I would share. I will catch you in the next video.